Today our topic is the dark side of pleasure, Stoic insights. Life is full of moments that bring us joy, excitement, and satisfaction. We all seek pleasure in different ways, whether it's through food, relationships, success, or entertainment. But what if I told you that pleasure, while enjoyable, has a dark side? What if the very things that make us happy can also lead us astray? This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. The Stoics, ancient thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, taught us that pleasure, when not understood or managed properly, can become a trap. It can control us, weaken our character, and distract us from what truly matters. Let's explore this idea and see how Stoic wisdom can help us navigate the dark side of pleasure. First, let's talk about what pleasure really is. Pleasure is a feeling of enjoyment or satisfaction. It's natural to seek it out because it makes us feel good. But the Stoics warn us that pleasure is not the same as happiness. Happiness, according to Stoicism, comes from living a virtuous life, from being in control of our emotions, and from finding peace within ourselves. Pleasure, on the other hand, is often fleeting. It comes and goes, and the more we chase it, the more we risk becoming slaves to it. Think about it. When we indulge in too much pleasure, we start to crave it. We want more and more, and when we don't get it, we feel empty or frustrated. This is the dark side of pleasure. It can create dependency and make us lose sight of what's truly important. The Stoics believe that we should not avoid pleasure entirely, but we should approach it with caution. They taught us to enjoy life's pleasures without becoming attached to them. Why? Because attachment leads to suffering. When we depend on external things for our happiness, we give away our power. We become vulnerable to disappointment, frustration, and even despair. For example, imagine someone who loves to eat delicious food. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good meal, but if that person becomes obsessed with food, if they can't be happy without it, then their pleasure has turned into a problem. The Stoics would say that this person has lost control. They are no longer free, because their happiness depends on something outside of themselves. This is a key Stoic insight. True freedom comes from within. It comes from mastering our desires and understanding that we don't need external things to be happy. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his journal, Meditations, that we should not let ourselves be controlled by our cravings. He said that we should be like a rock in the ocean, unmoved by the waves of pleasure and pain. This doesn't mean we should be cold or emotionless. It means we should be strong and resilient, able to enjoy life without being ruled by it. Another important Stoic idea is that pleasure often distracts us from our purpose. Life is short, and we have limited time to do what matters. When we spend too much time chasing pleasure, we waste precious moments that could be used to grow, learn, and contribute to the world. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote about this in his letters. He said that many people live as if they will never die, wasting their days on trivial pursuits. They chase after temporary pleasures instead of focusing on what will bring them lasting fulfillment. Seneca urged us to remember that time is our most valuable resource. Once it's gone forever. So, instead of seeking pleasure, we should seek meaning. We should focus on things that align with our values and help us become better people. But how do we do this? How do we resist the pull of pleasure and stay focused on what truly matters? The Stoics offer several practical strategies. First, they encourage us to practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to control our impulses and make choices that align with our long-term goals. It's about saying no to immediate gratification in favor of something more meaningful. For example, instead of spending hours watching TV or scrolling through social media, we could use that time to read a book, exercise, or spend quality time with loved ones. Self-discipline doesn't mean we can never have fun. It means we choose our pleasures wisely and don't let them take over our lives. Second, the Stoics teach us to practice gratitude. Gratitude helps us appreciate what we have instead of always wanting more. When we focus on what's good in our lives, we feel less of a need to chase after external pleasures. Gratitude also reminds us that many of the things we desire are not essential. We don't need them to be happy. Epictetus, a former slave who became a Stoic teacher, said that the key to happiness is to want only what we already have. This doesn't mean we should stop improving ourselves or pursuing our goals. It means we should find contentment in the present moment and not let our happiness depend on things we don't have. Third, the Stoics encourage us to reflect on our mortality. This might sound gloomy, but it's actually a powerful tool for staying focused on what matters. When we remember that life is short, we are less likely to waste time on trivial pleasures. We are more motivated to make the most of every day and to live in a way that aligns with our values. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of this in his Meditations. He wrote that we should live each day as if it were our last, not in fear, but with a sense of urgency and purpose. By keeping death in mind, we can avoid getting caught up in the pursuit of pleasure and instead focus on what truly matters. Finally, the Stoics teach us to embrace discomfort. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's an important part of building resilience and strength. When we avoid discomfort, we become soft and dependent on external comforts. But when we face challenges and push through difficulties, we grow stronger and more self-reliant. The Stoics believe that discomfort is not something to be feared or avoided. It's an opportunity to practice virtue and build character. For example, instead of always seeking the easiest path, we can choose to take on challenges that test our limits. We can practice moderation by not overindulging in food, drink, or other pleasures. By embracing discomfort, we train ourselves to be less dependent on external things for our happiness. In conclusion, the dark side of pleasure is that it can control us if we're not careful. It can distract us from our purpose, weaken our character, and make us dependent on external things for happiness. But Stoic philosophy offers us a way out. By practicing self-discipline, gratitude, reflection, and embracing discomfort, we can enjoy life's pleasures without being ruled by them. We can find true happiness within ourselves and live a life of meaning and purpose. Remember, pleasure is not the enemy, but it's not the ultimate goal either. The ultimate goal is to live a virtuous life, to be in control of our emotions, and to find peace within ourselves. So, the next time you feel the pull of pleasure, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to my values and goals, or is it distracting me from them? By doing this, you can navigate the dark side of pleasure and live a life that is truly fulfilling.